So I wake up this morning um, late because the young children are gone for the week. But I wake up this morning to find out that the Vancouver Canucks have signed Brock Boeser. Now, I never had any doubt that he would sign in Vancouver. And I heard plenty over the year through, or last 2 years actually, through comments and just people in general. Why would he go to Vancouver? Well, he can just do what Jimmy Vesey did. He can just follow Jake Gardner and he can be another guy like Justin Schultz. And no, not all college guys are like that. And not only that, but when you're a college guy and you're looking at your future NHL career, um, playing for a team that desperately needs forwards, young forwards, is a good setup. Um, I'm already stoked about what Horvat's future holds. I am cautiously optimistic about you, Levy, and I really believe that Demko is going to be a starter. So Besser's another piece. He's not the end piece, of course, but what it does is it means that the Minnesota Vancouver game, which I was just going to ignore, now I'm going to watch it because apparently Besser's playing. This is his NHL debut, and it has the potential to be something really good. It is weird because it means the Canucks are paying him his entry level deal this year. They're burning off a year of it. That's risky. Gets him to RFA sooner, and then down the road UFA sooner by a season. But it does show something in that Benning's saying, look, if you're ready to play, you can come in and play. And he believes Besser's ready to come in and play. And I don't see any reason um, to doubt Benning when it comes to the scouting, when it comes to the rookies, because he's been right so far for the most part. We'll see. We'll see where it ends up. The the Canucks right now are, I think it's 12 points out of the playoffs, 12, 14 points out of the playoffs. We all know they're not making the playoffs. Sorry, just got up. We all know when they're not making the playoffs. Giddy. Okay. We all know they're not making the playoffs. So this past 10 games and now going into now is all about what's going to happen next year and guys trying out for jobs next year. And there's a lot to be said for bringing in the right rookies and the right kids to help replace some of the guys who are going out. Like I've heard many times, well, who's going to replace the Sedins? Well, first off, nobody. Nobody really and truly. I'm trying to find a place for this. Sorry. Nobody really and truly is going to replace the Sedins. Because nobody ever replaced Naslund, Bertuzzi, Morrison, and all them either. You just get new guys. In terms of replacements, you're looking at replacing the goals they've scored. No two players are really truly the same, so nobody ever really replaces anybody. Come here and sit. Stop fidgeting. But for Vancouver fans, this is a good sign. Boeser is supposed to be NHL ready. One of the best college guys that there was. And I'm very hopeful that this is the start of a good chapter for Vancouver because Canucks fans have needed it since the end of 2012. The 11-12 season featured them winning the President's Trophy and then losing in 5 in the first round, narrowly avoiding being swept, being the first team to ever win a President's Trophy that got swept in the first round. And I remember that season just being kind of a downer in that I knew the Canucks weren't as good as they'd been the year before. I knew they weren't going back to the Cup final. But because they were number one overall, it gave this false sense of stability, this false sense that the team was still just as good. Hi. And they really weren't. And anybody who was really paying attention knew that the lineup wasn't quite as good, the team wasn't quite as intense, the games weren't as lopsided as they'd been in 2010, 2011. And, you know, so when they lost in the first round, as they did, to the LA Kings, I remember there was a lot of criticism at the time. Oh, God, you know, Canucks number 1 seed, number 1 in the NHL, and they lose to the Kings. And then the Kings won the Cup, which makes Vancouver's result look a little bit more forgivable because Quick went on an incredible run. But again, that was the start of what's become kind of a dark time for the Canucks. Because from there until now, it's been a pretty poor roller coaster ride. It's not been one that I've enjoyed. So I'm really hoping that with Boeser, it is a start to something better. Something that will make the Canucks a better team and will signal a turnover. Maybe Ulevy's ready in the fall. I wouldn't be surprised if Ulevy needs another year before he's ready for the NHL because he's a defenseman. Defensemen take a little longer, and if you rush your defenseman, you get a rush defenseman, which is a bad idea. It's a really bad idea to rush defensemen. And again, with Demko, you don't want to rush a goalie either. So as anxious as we all are, and we're all very anxious to see the Canucks get better now, we want to see playoffs next year. I don't know if you're going to see playoffs next year, but at the very least, Boeser is now a Canuck. So all the people online are saying, he won't sign in Vancouver. Why would he sign in Vancouver? He can go free agent and sign anywhere for more money. He signed in Vancouver. Not all NCAA players are going to do what VC did. And yet, because he did it, because Gardner did it, Schultz did it, it's going to make people say, oh, all NCAA players are going to do this. So it's the same as the Russian KHL thing, right? Like, well, he's Russian, he's going to play in the KHL. And then, oh, what a surprise, he came over and played in the NHL. But there's always that fear that he's going to go to the KHL. Well, with NCAA guys, once they sign, you're not worried about it. But then they kind of have this hired gun thing about them because they wouldn't play where they were drafted. So when they're free agents, they're kind of hired guns. I don't know. Anyways, I am going to watch the game. I recommend any Canuck fans watch the game because it'll be interesting to see how Boeser plays. And hopefully Ryan Miller isn't facing 40 shots again. But it's Minnesota. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Wild make mincemeat out of the Canucks. It doesn't matter if they do. I'm watching to see how Horvat plays, how Boeser plays, Stetcher, Trampkin, the future core, the players who are going to make up the Canucks 5-10 years from now. Those are the guys I'm watching. And it would be really nice if they also then won the draft lottery, drafted Nolan Patrick, and could actually go into next year going, okay, Horvat and Patrick are going to be the top 2 centers for this team at some point. And maybe that time would be as soon as next October. If the Sedins came back next year and were told you guys are going to play third line for the last year of your contract, I don't think they'd be upset. And I think Canuck fans would be really excited. I think giving first line time to Horvat, second line time to a rookie Nolan Patrick, and putting the Sedins on the third line, I think that would be fantastic. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. If you're just browsing your way through, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. I don't live in a bomb shelter. I know how this video looks, but I don't live in a bomb shelter or any kind of Unabomber type place. Probably should have rethought the lighting situation before I started filming, but it is what it is. All right. Thanks for watching. I think Boeser's going to be just fine. I got up this morning thinking I'm going to do a video on Adam Cracknell's hat trick. And then this happened. So I will discuss Adam Cracknell's hat trick after this video has been uploaded. Hi. Oh, I know I love you too. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all again soon.